If you've been watching YouTube videos about visceral fat loss after 60, chances are you've been fed a diet of misinformation. Videos claiming Harvard studies show 73% fat loss in 30 days, or that breathing techniques alone melt 42% more belly fat. Here's the problem. Most of these studies don't exist, and many of the researchers cited aren't real people. Today, we're going to give you the actual science on visceral fat reduction after 60, what really works, what the research actually shows, and realistic expectations based on peer-reviewed studies, not marketing hype. Before we begin, tell us in the comments your age and where you're watching from. We're reading every comment and want to hear about your real experiences with these strategies. First, let's establish what visceral fat actually is. It's the fat stored deep in your abdomen, wrapped around your organs like your liver, pancreas, and intestines. Unlike the subcutaneous fat you can pinch under your skin, visceral fat is metabolically active and releases inflammatory substances that genuinely do increase your risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and other health conditions. This part is real and well documented in medical literature. The good news? Visceral fat does respond to lifestyle changes, often more readily than subcutaneous fat. But the timelines and percentages you see in most YouTube videos are pure fiction. Let's talk about what actually works, with realistic expectation. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at using dietary protein to build and maintain muscle, a process called anabolic resistance. Research published in the Journal of the American Medical Directors Association does show that older adults benefit from distributing protein evenly across meals rather than loading it all at dinner. The current evidence suggests aiming for 25-30 grams of quality protein per meal, though individual needs vary based on your activity level and overall health. Why does this matter for visceral fat? Because maintaining muscle mass helps keep your metabolism more active. Each pound of muscle burns more calories at rest than fat tissue does, though the exact numbers are debated, with estimates ranging from 6 to 50 calories per day per pound. A 2022 study in Nutrients following older adults found that those who ate adequate protein at each meal maintained more muscle mass during weight loss, compared to those eating the same total protein concentrated in 1 or 2 meals. More muscle preservation during weight loss means you're more likely losing fat, including visceral fat, rather than muscle. Start your day with eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a protein-rich smoothie. For lunch and dinner, include palm-sized portions of fish, chicken, lean beef, tofu, tempeh, or legume combinations like beans with rice. This isn't about obsessively counting grams. It's about making protein a priority at each meal. Realistic expectation? This strategy helps preserve muscle during weight loss, which supports long-term metabolic health. It's not going to melt visceral fat by itself, but it's a solid foundation. Here's where YouTube videos go completely off the rails, but there is some interesting science here. You do have 2 types of fat: white fat that stores energy, and brown fat that burns calories to generate heat. Research from the New England Journal of Medicine has shown that cold exposure can activate brown fat. However, the effects are modest, not miraculous. A study in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that regular cold exposure, around 63 degrees Celsius for 2 hours daily, did increase energy expenditure, but we're talking about an extra 100 to 250 calories burned per day, not the dramatic fat loss percentages you see in viral videos. You can try lowering your thermostat to around 66, 68 degree Celsius during winter months, or ending your shower with 30 to 60 seconds of cooler water. Some people find this invigorating, others find it miserable. The metabolic benefit is real but small. Think of it as a modest bonus, not a magic solution. This might contribute an extra 50-100 calories burned daily if done consistently. That's about 1 pound of fat loss every 5 to 7 weeks from this strategy alone. Helpful, but not dramatic. Time-restricted eating, limiting your food intake to a specific window each day, has been studied for its effects on weight and metabolic health. A 2022 study in Cell Metabolism did find that eating within a 10-hour window, for example, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., helped with modest weight loss compared to eating across 14+ hours. But here's what YouTube videos won't tell you. The weight loss averaged about 2 to 3% of body weight over 12 weeks, and researchers couldn't determine if the benefit came from the timing itself or simply from eating fewer calories overall. The dramatic 47% more visceral fat loss claims circulating online have no basis in actual research. That said, many people over 60 find time-restricted eating helpful because it naturally prevents late-night snacking and creates structure around meals. Some studies suggest it may improve insulin sensitivity, which does help with fat metabolism. Start with a 12-hour eating window, for example, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which simply means not eating after dinner or before breakfast. If that feels comfortable after a few weeks, you can try narrowing it to 10-11 hours. Don't force yourself into an 8-hour window if it makes you miserable or causes you to skip important meals. Important note, if you have diabetes, take medications that affect blood sugar, or have a history of disordered eating, talk to your doctor before trying time-restricted eating. This may help you lose 1 to 2 pounds per month as part of an overall healthy eating pattern, primarily by reducing mindless eating and late-night snacks. This is where we find some of the most solid science. Research published in Obesity did follow adults for 5 years and found that for every 10 grams of soluble fiber consumed daily, visceral fat decreased by about 3.7%. Not overnight, not in 30 days, over 5 years. This is real data, just with realistic timelines. Soluble fiber works through several mechanisms. It slows down digestion, which helps prevent blood sugar spikes that can promote fat storage. It feeds beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, which have anti-inflammatory effects and may help regulate fat metabolism. And it helps you feel fuller, which naturally reduces calorie intake. The best sources of soluble fiber include oats, barley, beans, lentils, apples, citrus fruits, flax seeds, and chia seeds. Some research does support glucomannan, konjac root supplements taken before meals, though the effect is modest, typically helping people lose about 1 to 2 extra pounds over 8 to 12 weeks. Add 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed to your morning oatmeal or smoothie. Include beans or lentils in at least 1 meal daily. Snack on apples or oranges instead of processed foods. Start slowly and increase gradually to avoid digestive discomfort. Combined with other healthy habits, increasing soluble fiber to 25-30 grams daily can support gradual, sustainable fat loss, including visceral fat, over months, not weeks. Here's where YouTube videos claim that specific breathing patterns will melt 42% more belly fat. The reality is more nuanced, but still important. Chronic stress does contribute to visceral fat accumulation through elevated cortisol levels. This is well established in research published in journals like Psychoneuroendocrinology. Deep breathing exercises, meditation, and other stress reduction techniques can lower cortisol levels. A 2017 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that stress reduction interventions led to modest improvements in body composition, though the effects weren't as dramatic as YouTube would have you believe. The 4-7-8 breathing pattern, breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8, is a real technique used in stress management. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation. Dr. Andrew Weil, a legitimate researcher from the University of Arizona, has advocated for this technique for stress reduction. But does it directly cause massive fat loss? No. What it can do is help manage the chronic stress that contributes to unhealthy eating patterns, poor sleep, and elevated cortisol, all factors that make losing visceral fat harder. Practice deep breathing for 5 to 10 minutes when you wake up and before bed. Focus on slow, diaphragmatic breathing, letting your belly rise and fall rather than just your chest. This can be part of a broader stress management approach, including adequate sleep, regular physical activity, and social connection. Better stress management supports all your other health efforts and may help reduce stress-related eating. It's not going to melt fat by itself, but chronic stress definitely makes fat loss harder. Here's what the real science shows about losing visceral fat after 60. Combining moderate calorie reduction with regular physical activity, including both aerobic exercise and strength training, remains the most effective approach. Studies consistently show that people who lose weight gradually, 1-2 pounds per week, through sustainable lifestyle changes, lose visceral fat along with overall body fat. A 2019 study in JAMA found that older adults following a moderate calorie restriction, reducing intake by about 500 calories daily, combined with exercise, lost about 5 to 7% of their body weight over 6 months, with significant reductions in visceral fat measured by CT scans. Not 47% in 3 months, not 73% in 30 days, but real, meaningful improvement. The strategies we discussed, protein distribution, time-restricted eating, fiber intake, stress management, even cold exposure, can all support this process. But they work best as part of an overall lifestyle approach, not as magic bullets. If you're over 60 and concerned about visceral fat, here's the honest truth. There's no quick fix, no breathing technique that melts fat overnight, and most of the studies cited in viral YouTube videos simply don't exist. What does work is making sustainable changes, eating adequate protein, including plenty of fiber-rich foods, staying physically active with both cardio and strength training, managing stress, and getting quality sleep. These changes, maintained over months, can lead to meaningful reductions in visceral fat and real improvements in your health markers. A realistic goal? Losing 5 to 10% of your body weight over 6 to 12 months through sustainable lifestyle changes. Research shows this amount of weight loss significantly reduces visceral fat and improves metabolic health markers like blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol levels. Before starting any new diet or exercise program, especially if you have existing health conditions or take medications, talk with your doctor. They can help you set appropriate goals and monitor your progress safely. Your next steps. Instead of falling for the next viral video promising miraculous results, focus on building sustainable habits. Make protein a priority at each meal. Increase your fiber intake gradually through whole foods. Find an eating schedule that works for your lifestyle. Incorporate stress management practices that you'll actually stick with. Stay physically active in ways you enjoy. Now we want to hear from you. Have you tried any of these strategies? What's worked for you? Have you noticed how much misinformation is out there about fat loss after 60? Share your experiences in the comments below, the real ones, not the miracle transformations. If you found this fact-based approach helpful, hit that like button and subscribe Wisdom and Wellness for Senior Survival for more honest health information without the hype. Thanks for watching, and remember, real change takes time, but it's worth it.